Thanks for tuning into No Wine in No Time. I'm your host Dave, and today we're going to talk about a wine called Cotes du Roussillon Village. So to understand exactly what this wine is, let's talk about where it's from. So if we look at the southern part of France on the Mediterranean Sea, we have the area called Languedoc-Roussillon. And Languedoc-Roussillon stretches from the east where it meets Rhone to the west where it meets the Pyrenees Mountains and Spain. To the east we have Languedoc, and to the west we have Roussillon. So Cotes du Roussillon is France's largest and least specific appellation. In other words, wines that come from the Cotes du Roussillon come from all different areas. However, Cotes du Roussillon Village is a very specific, very small appellation in the foothills of the Pyrenees Mountains. And in this area, there's just about 3,000 acres of total production in that appellation. And when we look at the Cotes du Roussillon Village area, it's dominated by a river system by the name of Agly. And the Agly River cuts right through the middle of Cotes du Roussillon. The grapes that are grown here are grown on very steep slopes. Those slopes limit the yield so much that by law, Cotes du Roussillon Village wines can only have 2.7 tons per acre of production. So to put that in perspective, if we look at some of the massive wine production areas here in the United States, think California, you're somewhere between 6 and 12 tons per acre. So 2.7. That's very, very low. And that's important because a lower yield produces much, much higher quality fruit. Now in this area, it's dominated by black skin grapes and red wines. So much so that 96% of production is either red wines or rosés, leaving just 4% for white wines. These red grapes are dominated by Grenache. But there are also plantings there of Carignan, Syrah, Mourvèdre, and then an obscure grape called Lidonnaire Poulet. In this area, we have a very unique soil type, and that's one called schist. So schist is actually plate rock. It's almost slaty in how it has metamorphosized over the years. So why is this important? Because schist adds a certain minerality to the wine that isn't in other areas of France or other areas of the world. We also have subsoils of granite and a little bit of limestone in that area as well. Now, being right on the Mediterranean, Cotes du Roussillon Village wines are blessed with a beautifully warm climate and 320 days of sunshine. That's right, 320 days of sunshine. So that's pretty incredible, and that will produce exceptional fruit. So let's take a look at a Cotes du Roussillon Village and see what you can expect if you go into your wine store and seek out one of these wines. So the one I picked for you today is from Serre-Romani, and it's actually called Le Schist, and that's to pay homage to the actual soil that's there. This is a 2016 vintage, and this is a blend of Syrah and Grenache. So when we look at Syrah and Grenache, those are two of the grapes that I had mentioned before. By law, you must have at least two, but you can have more. These wines always have to be a blend. So let's go ahead and take a look at the wine. So if we take a look at the wine, we notice we can see a little bit through the wine. It's not completely opaque. It has some beautiful purplish garnet edges around the sides. If we swirl to liberate the aromas, what leaps out of the glass is really dark fruits. We smell things like plum skin, a little bit of blackberry and cassis, and a very, very spicy persona. I smell everything from cracked black peppercorn to a little bit of cardamom coming out of the glass. Now let's go ahead and taste the wine. Now this Cotes du Roussillon Village is actually very full-bodied. And I said Rhone, and that was kind of a Freudian slip. Because the subsets of grapes are very similar between Rhone and Cotes du Roussillon Village, as soon as I tasted the wine, my brain immediately spun through its Rolodex and thought Rhone. And you wouldn't be far off. If you like Rhone-style wines, you'll love a Cotes du Roussillon Village. So the first thing that we get when it comes across the palate is really a bright cherry that comes through in a very bold perspective. Then we get things like a little bit of plum paste and a little bit of blackberry and cassis. Then mid-palate, we start to feel the effects of the acidity in this dry red wine. And on the backside, we get all those different spices and really some vibrant minerality. We can actually, if I can say, this wine tastes like schist, it tastes like schist. I can actually feel the minerality coming through in the wine. So you might wonder what exactly this pairs with. So because it's a full-bodied red wine, a little bit higher in alcohol, this one comes in at 14.5%, and it has a very stiff tannic structure, you would want to pair it with heavier meats. So this is a wonderful grilling wine. This is something I would have everything from baby back ribs to a New York strip steak on the grill. It would be perfect with that type of thing. It does have almost a little bit of a smoky persona too, which I think it pairs really well with barbecue. So I'm going to get back and enjoy a little bit more of this Cotes du Roussillon Village, and I ask that you please come back next time, because soon you'll know wine in no time.